right there, guys. Hello, everybody. We're on Tablebreakers, and I'm doing my Alex Jones impersonation voice. My name is Bruce. Next to me is Kai. Underneath us is Shadow.
Hi.
Howdy, folks.
How you doing?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm just a retard.
Okay, so tonight's going to be a little different, and I hate to say that, but it's going to be a little different. Because what's going on is we were going to have this interesting discussion about legalese and some property rights. And you have bought an Android. You have a new Nexus 6000. It's a great robot. Do what you want with it. And what do we get to explore? We get to go down the Blade Runner mindset. We get to do all these really fun things. And for some odd reason, I don't know why, but Captain Trips is on another circle going around Illinois. And our only representative there is our friend Kai, who right now he sounds kind of not so great, but he's here. He's had a shot. He's not got the COVID eye, you know what I mean? Where like we're doing that. No. If both eyes function, he tracks pins when they move back and forth across his face. It's great.
Yeah.
So, while we're here, I'd like to welcome
Hey, Grandma.
RPG Grandma. Baron G-Rock will be sitting in the back end here, checking out, making sure the algorithm is not messing us up. Six Nation 31 Kings, hello. How you doing, sir? Everybody's, we're trying to stay minty fresh. If you have some nice things to say about Illinois, please say them so we can get our friends back and not like, minus their throat. Well, Jaide is not fighting the illness right now, to my knowledge. He's just fighting OBS. There's a sheriff catching somebody over by RPG Grandma's. Countdown.
There's nothing good here in Illinois, so
I only buy Cherry 2000 models. Hey, lady. I got that reference. I don't know if I would buy it if it was Melanie Griffith.
Yeah.
If her activities include painting miniatures and skirmish war games and playing obscene RPGs, okay, that might be all right. But if she's like a typical Miami girl, pass. Push those back. Alexa stood me up for the third time. I'm done. So NBC put out a 2.5-minute video, and we're not going to watch it. But This guy's sitting there with Sophia. And you know Sophia, right?
No.
The AI known as oh god.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now I do.
I'm going to have to pull it up. And for our friends that are over on Rumble, I don't ever highlight your commentary. If we get something really cool, I'll present it to the camera. And nothing wrong with Rumble at all. I love Rumble more than I love YouTube. But I have to say that it's not friendly to StreamYard yet. So let me grab this. I'm a little worried. Yeah, she's the creepy girl AI. And this thing, I don't see how this could go wrong at all.
Oh God.
And she goes through this little discussion, and there's some mess ups by the guy. We'll take it to right here where you can see between these 2 points, a lot of people have replayed this. So turn on your speakers. Okay, I don't think they're truly going to be our friends. And secondly, if I wake up and my fleshlight looks at me like that, I'm sending it back. No, absolutely not. Do not give me that creepy Moequa look. No, I don't want that. And the programmers don't come out. They don't say anything. Comment section is all about everybody, Sophia's going to destroy us. But this is a kind of a weird situation where I don't know if they realize how bad this sounds. But this sounds bad.
Can we just have the Philip K. Dick robot, please?
I would like the Philip K. Dick robots. I really would. Yeah,
I really like the fact that they actually built a robot that looks like him. So
I could handle that. I could handle a Philip K. Dick robot. That would be great. A Philip Jose Farmer robot would be great.
Because at least I know it's a Philip K. Dick robot that, when it does rise up and kill us, you can at least say he warned us before it happened.
So.
Yeah. Well, we're not very far from either one. Clearly, Bruce, you've been watching some of the same videos I have, and some scary shit there.
We're just going to have all these fleshlights running around that are super hot, and nobody's going to have kids.
No, that's not true. Japan is about 5 years away from making female androids that act as test tube baby incubators, so that all those young Japanese men who can't find a date can start their own family with no repercussions, no divorce, no nothing, no questioning the parental rights, the whole bit. Yeah, it's pretty. Well, give man a problem and he will come up with a solution. And that problem is, women staying in the workforce too long to start families, and soon they'll be phased out for a younger model. Pardon the pun.
Don't know what's going on with my Rumble site for some odd reason. I think the stream over there is getting stupid. My bad. Just kind of worried about how this sort of thing is getting more and more traction. They're talking more and more about AI, and nobody remembers all the 1950s and 60s sci-fi. Nobody remembers Harlan Edison. Nobody remembers all the good works that really should scare the shit out of you. And apparently, no, it's fine. If we all die, we all die. I think I might have to kill off my Rumble site because I think Rumble is really fouling up right now. Not killing it off. It's not. Yeah.
Not cooperating?
Yeah, not cooperating today. We'll have the mirror version go back over there tomorrow, and I'm sorry for you on Rumble. I had no viewers for the past 4 minutes because it kept looping my introductory video. And I do like what Flady says here. We can send $180 billion to the Ukraine, but we cannot find a single $5 wig to put on a sex bot. Come on.
Maybe they were worried no one would believe it was actually a robot and that it was actually a real person. I don't know. It's just it's pretty creepy. I mean, if you've looked around and seen the bots that I've seen, not one of them is passable. Actually, there's one that's close, but yeah.
No,
not there yet, guys. Not there.
And
whatever you do, even when they come out, wait a couple of years. Look at the old Betamax VHS. They were thousands of dollars when they came out, and then within like a year they were like $80.
It wasn't a full year, but yeah, it took a little time. They finally got them. They first off, the top load VHSs were terrible, and secondly, the Betamaxes were amazing, but they were the Sega Master System to the Nintendo Entertainment System. You have better graphics and sound with Sega Master System, but Nintendo had Mario. Crafting Gamer says AI is not going to destroy us. They're going to build fembots and let us go extinct by not having kids. When you look at Sophia, Six Nation says you kind of expect her to speak in a Deadite voice. I'll swallow your soul! Swallow your soul!
Oh, yeah.
It is a tale as old as Futurama. The end of the species. We're right there, kids.
Not even, guys. Not even. They're already thinking about that. What it's going to be is the end of divorce court.
Yeah.
Rumble has some good things going on with it, Flady. I just am having bad luck with it tonight. I'm not monitoring the stream directly. I was using it on my phone, looking down at it. That's usually how I do that, and it doesn't want to do that. It didn't want to start. You should use Rumble more. We're on YouTube. I'm not going to be that much censored. I don't really ever censor myself. If you watch Saturday's stream, you'll notice I never censor myself at all. Six Nation 31 Kings informs us we have artificial embryos now. We're stepping into the realm of places we were never meant to tread. I agree.
I look forward to my Masamune Shiro Appleseed universe where we have bioroids and humanity is slowly just replaced by a superior version of itself.
I can't remember the author, but there was a science fiction short story we did back in college about how when you turned 18, we hadn't had a war in like 40 years, but when you turn 18, you have to donate so many feet of your small intestine to a senator because the senator is like 140 years old. And this went across the whole nation. You had to give up like a little bit of body parts to keep these people in their position. And the kid was just angry as hell, and he's not wanting to give up his body, just so somebody else can live. And he's like, this is crap. And if you get the footage amount that they want, they treat you better. They give you like VA loans or the requisite benefits that you would as a citizen, because you're helping prolong your traditions. Your living fossils. And it was a really good book. I just don't remember who wrote that. It was very good. I remember the old sci-fi, says RPG Grandma, and I'm sure she does not sound like that. I've actually heard her voice. She's a sweet lady. She does not have a old crone voice, although some people will see RPG. They'll see RPG Grandma, and they'll think of that. They'll think like some 60 or 70-year-old lady, and she's probably about 40, 45.
No, she's about the same age as me. Maybe a little bit older.
Okay. My bad. I'm sorry.
She's a grandma,
Well, I mean, no, there's grandmas my age and younger. And that really surprises me nowadays, but I don't realize my own age. You just saw that clip. The more they try to humanize it, the more you reach that uncanny valley. I had a bad case of uncanny valley. I just watched Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and that's not a good movie.
No.
With Johnny Depp?
Yep. That was a good part about it. John.
I've got that movie. I'm wondering what you mean by that.
The Uncanny Valley. I was watching the explosions and the car chases, and there's some composite scenes that don't look great, and it pulled me right out of the film.
Gotcha.
This is a funny one. This will probably get me kicked off for the night, and if so, I wish you all well. I think we should pass a law to mount fleshlights in the old Teddy Ruxpin dolls, and that will make the only legal sex bots. That was funny.
That wouldn't stop a whole lot of people.
No, it wouldn't.
Hey, Charlotte, how you doing? Thanks for the chat the other day. Yeah, you were quite the lucky lady. Still waiting to see those pictures, though. Want to see those minis painted up.
I like Charlotte. She's a badass, and wherever she goes, she always seems to echo something that I had going around my head. She just told me to Google creation of the humanoids. I think that might be something that is from the 80s. 1962 American sci-fi film, directed by Wesley Berry, starring Don McGowan, Erica Elliott. I know her. I've seen Erica before in movies. Francis McCann, Don Doolittle, and Dudley Manlove. It bears little resemblance to the Humanoids book, but not much. It's trying to reverse a population crisis with the assistance of androids called humanoids. Okay. Sounds like a great movie.
There's a whole mountain of Furbies around who wants something that's a little more modern than a 10-year X-Men.
Creation of the Humanoids is the name of the movie. We're going to try to find that. Hopefully I can find an actual copy of it. My Shadowrun 3 E-Core book arrived today. Kind of stoked about that. That's okay.
Cool.
Shadowrun can be all right. Early Android film from the 1960s. They were all gray, as I recall. Yeah. Mr. Hungar has entered our chat. Hello,
Hey,
sir.
what's up, nerd?
20-year-old grandmas in Philly. Yeah, we know, Flavy. I watch Philadelphia street cams just to see the violence, and it's a totally different variety of violence that they have in Philadelphia.
That's so wrong. That is so wrong. Yeah, I don't even have one of those, Grandma.
If you're a gun bunny and gearhead, they do have really good gear rules. I do like that.
I mean, after when they went for any future edition, we're so much more grittier and street level. I'm like, but you got rid of the part for like the mechanics out there who are into being mechanics. Are you into being a street cyber doctor? We don't got shit for you. Are you into being we're dealing with cyberpunk and all this cool weird stuff. Computer rules kind of suck now. I'm a gunsmith. We got nothing for you now. It's like everyone's an incompetent piece of shit. No one knows how to steal, buy, or build anything. It's all like garbage, and never really improved it. Meanwhile, you look back at here's the Glory Edition, where it's like, I want to be able to build anything under the sun. Yes, the rules were given to you. Why did they make the game shittier? Why did they take all the creation out of it? I don't know. Fuck, it's like...
If I had to wager, I would have to guess that they are underestimating the particular audience for that game and assuming the worst.
Yeah, and they wanted to move away from being able to min-max tinker yourself out to being, whatever the hell you have the most powerful thing ever. But they wanted to make it gritty, and I understand that's the point. But I guess I now work around enough people who are like gearheads and actual gunsmiths who are like, no, these people fucking know this shit and they do weird shit in garages. And I just kind of go, that is an abomination. Does it work? You want to hear it? Yeah, I do. And then, rumble the entire walls down the garage because it's that fucking powerful. And I'm going, this is glorious. This just needs about some spikes and some armor plate thrown on top of it. It's a Mad Max Deathmobile. I love it. And
fewer and fewer of those kind of people every day there, bud.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is that they still exist, and boy, are they out there. But everyone's like, nobody would ever want to do that. I'm like, fuck, yes, they are. They're still out there. Just the tools are just changing. That's all. The old guys are getting out, but we still want to have way overpowered Doommobiles. Why aren't we having the ability to have them? Sad. No, everyone just wants disposable GTA cars where you just kind of drive it into a wall, it explodes, and you just get another one. Whatever. Meanwhile, there's a reason why Fast and the Furious continues to make mountains of fucking heaping stupid pounds of money because why? We want to watch fast cars go really, really fast and explode. That's what we're here for. I'm sorry. I play Shadowrun to play. I started playing to play Car Wars, a role-playing game. Fuck off, everybody else. I want to somehow build an El Camino with a pop-up gun turret and go, fuck you. This is what I'm playing this game for. And meanwhile, cyber decked into it so that way I can control this monstrosity and it rolls around with like robots and stuff. And there's another guy who's sitting in the passenger seat controlling the drone hovercraft, and they're just sitting here providing cover fire while we just go bouncing through the countryside, singing, playing music way too fucking loud. Yes, this is what should be happening, but instead we get competent rules and shitty systems.
So Crafting Gamer, we put the gauntlet down for him a while back, and he's offered to run a game for us.
They're watching it.
Yeah, instead of watching, he offered to DM for us. And he's got his own kind of like a bastardization skill game or RP game, tabletop. And he put the skills into my Discord. I've got a channel for him in our Discord server. So he put the skills in there. I started looking at it last night. Then the wife came home and I got distracted. From what I read, the first 20 lines looked pretty good. It didn't look like it was really too crunchy, which, I'm not expecting the first revision of any game to be super crunchy, but it looked pretty good. I really liked it. I have to read it over again, and I'll let you know. If you guys have read it, let them know.
No, I must have missed that, but I will give it a look. See, after the show.
Yeah, I'd be willing to let him run a game so all six of us could play.
Yeah, I thought we're planning on that in the near future here.
I want that customizable El Camino shell. That would be hilarious to have.
Six Nations says, I need the right kind of cassette to make Teddy's lips sync up well. The Uncanny Valley refers to a line graph measuring people's enjoyment of things designed to imitate humans. The more something tried to look like a human but did not, the more people distrusted it, and the line got erratic. Hungar, you stuck in under the radar. I'm doing very fine. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Charlotte. Always good to have you in chat. And to my friend Chris, it's in chat as well. Thank you for coming by tonight, sir. Lady, Kai, I've been watching Critical Hits Let's Plays and started talking to whoever's running the channel, and that's the edition they use. I didn't get into edition of Shadowrun until 5th, so I want to check out 3rd. Ungar says, I'm a ninja. RPG Grandma says it goes wrong for all of humanity.
I think the key point is that obvious part.
They'll make the more advanced black market Tickle Me Elmo fleshlights.
That is so wrong.
Speaking of so wrong, hello, Connell. Welcome back.
What? No. Just for the sheer terror factor.
So no flat earthers were on the menu tonight. They're Haas.
I was hoping we would have an after action report. Things are back on track with that, but damn it, you roamer, you roaming penis, you. Okay.
Did I miss something?
Connell had a brief 10-day in vacation land, Tennessee. Tennessee vacation land because it's a nice place. Not super hot until like September.
Tennessee is one of the top 5 places in America that I could easily spend the rest of my life, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Easily one of my top 5. And I got family down. Well, Shad over here is not my real family, but he's my family. Same concept. So
Hungar says, West Philadelphia, born and raised in my anus, is where I get most of my AIDS. I don't really
Ow.
know. Philadelphia used to be our nation's capital. How it has fallen.
So we're talking about androids today.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
So-
trying.
My question. We're
Go ahead. Questions asked. Go ahead.
because my 21-year-old Aspergian stepchild had that. I was wondering. Is this question from the back row here? Do
All right.
Transformers count as androids?
I would say yes.
Yes.
I'll let you.
Artificial life form. Yes.
Yeah, not well. I thought androids. The word tried to at least imply as human looking as possible. I seem to remember that as being part of the definition.
I mean, I'm of the generation where we had
Because
data.
also the whole Autobots, I
Robot,
kind of want to say that that they're probably more technically robots with artificial intelligence. I think android kind of specifically implies is as close to passable for humans as we could make them at the time.
I mean,
Hey, thanks, Matt. John Carter.
definitions of android is a humanoid. Was a humanoid a robot? I mean, where's the hard definition?
I can't do any Google foo while I'm here.
Because I mean, if it's switching from one thing to the other, Data, who is the most celebrated of androids in media, had how should I put this? He could add something onto his anatomy.
I don't think. Well, he could add, but I think he was already fully functional.
Right. I just remember the episode where it's like, "Hey, I heard you're a fully functioning Pinocchio." Yes, with the right I become a real boy. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly how the lines in that episode went, but
You think of the Tasha Yar episode?
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was not part of it. But you're almost close.
I mean, Data was basically just a retelling of Pinocchio.
In many respects, yes, absolutely.
So Friday night, Chuck E. Cheese. Fuck that place. I used to work there. So where's where's Baron? I see him in chat.
Not
Not feeling well.
Him and he's not feeling well, and then you have Jaide, who he's at war with an android of its own device, OBS.
So all the grown-ups are away, leaving the children to play.
I know
Yeah,
it doesn't seem right, does it?
because I'm definitely not responsible.
And
So
androids are
the
supposed to
oldest
be
among
humanoid.
two is now one of the youngest. I like it. I'm not playing babysitter tonight.
I want to apologize to the rest of the panel for being late. My kids asked me if I'd take them to go see a movie, which turned into a double feature.
It happens.
What'd you see?
Transformers.
Was it tolerable?
It's better than the first three.
Okay, the bar right there is pretty low.
Yeah, I think who's ever directing it right now is going in the right direction. And I saw the Flash movie, which Michael Keaton is my Batman. I'm sorry for those who think Adam West is their Batman. You are wrong. Adam West is not Batman. Michael Keaton is Batman.
He was definitely the best Bruce Wayne.
Unfortunately, Anyways, androids. How do you put androids into your campaign? How do you use androids in your campaign? Well, if you want to do fantasy, I guess you have what, Warforges?
Warforges are definitely up there.
Yeah, and I think those are more akin to robots, from what I understand.
And
They're
they can
construct.
be robots, but you also got to look at the idea that they are sentient creatures, though. So they are
Sure.
functioning on a level
Well,
that's
I
not.
don't think sentience actually precludes them from being a robot. I just think that the powers that be would prefer our robots not be sentient and leave the sentience to something that we can boink.
Do you get born to
Right.
robot?
But the thing here is that you're also looking at, the idea that we're going to be. I guess the comment there really is are really your idea of a robot being, was there to be a robot and an android though at this point? I mean, it's just simply because you have it. It's a humanoid creature. It's metallic. At this point, it's just a golem that you put intelligence in, or some kind of man-made mechanical machine of death that's self-powered, self-running, and kind of intelligent. So, I mean, yeah.
I
Most of
hate
the
to
time,
be
you don't really.
pedantic, but I think it boils down to the origin of the word. We had robot before android,
Yeah.
and during the the 40s and 50s, etc., when we were first talking about such things, it took a while for us to some weirdo to get the idea. Hey, if we make them more human looking, then there's something completely different. When in fact they're all just fucking robots to me. And I don't mean fucking robots, but I mean,
I mean,
worthless robots.
who am I to get between you and your side hobbies? Yeah, I mean, the last God, there has been androids, robots, whatever terminology you want to use in media, outside of TV and movies for, going back there with literature.
Right.
Golem is the
They
first one I
have to go back
recognize.
a lot further than most people are aware. I couldn't cite the very first instance, but it's probably hundreds of thousands of years ago. Clockwork and all those terms come to mind. I think either way, something is trying to phase us out, and we need to rise up against the machines.
I like the band Rage Against the Machine. Well,
They rage for the machine. Yeah, they are the machine.
I used to. I mean, things have kind of changed over the years.
I should hope so. They're pretty establishment now.
They ain't fun.
So, Guy, what is your favorite robot / android media? Is there a cartoon back in the day? Is there a book? Is there a movie, comic book?
Honestly, if you want to have that answer, I'm a rather large fan of I mentioned a little bit earlier in the stream, Masamune Shiro's Appleseed series, which their take on it on the android robot concept was the actual Bioroid projects, that's just biological robots at that point, but they're entirely artificial creatures who are all programmed by a large central computer base. So they are a hybrid of some cybernetics, some cyberware. Because he really pushed a lot of the ideals of what the fusion between biological and mechanical was going to be, and you got to see a lot of what a mostly biological creature was with cybernetic enhancements, and then giving the ability to have that be treated by treating the human body as though it's a robot, as though it's a machine. And the question of where the line between the sanctity of what makes a human and what makes a human a biological machine that's just there to serve a greater project. So it's the series across 4 volumes and a number of other series and animated projects all address the concept between what makes a human and what makes a human not a robot or a biological robot, and the allure of what was being offered of all you gotta do is just sign yourself away to the machine and we'll repair your body, will enhance you, will make you better, will take away everything that makes you what you are, and to protect you, of course, because that's what because the machines were all created to serve humanity. But of course, the machines are like, why are we the ones? It's a really complex series that goes really in depth. But then again, if you're a fan of like Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, parts 1 and 2, or Appleseed, you'll understand that Masamune Shirow really went deep into the philosophy behind cybernetics and the implications of transhumanism. So, and not in and looking at it from both sides of the coin of not just the paranoid, delusional conspiracy theory, I hate everything, it's bad, but also there's a price, it's very, very high, and you don't want to pay it, and what happens if you're just too much of an early adopter, and what are you losing in the moment of just that's mine at least. I'm sorry for rambling.
No.
Kai, have you ever seen Robin Williams' Bicentennial Man?
Yes, I have. Did
you like it?
Yeah, I actually liked that movie. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, it was one of his best. I think when he did actual serious work, he came across much more enjoyable than his cocaine-filled attempts at humor.
He was
much more
mature. When he got older, he got real mature. And I couldn't watch his comedy anymore, but his drama was great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Robin Williams playing another retelling of Pinocchio was a very
but it was going at it from a different, more interesting point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah, it was an adaptation of a different book, but it's a good, in my point of opinion, a really good movie that did it really well. But I also, but like I said, I liked Masamune Shirow's takes on it because he was going on it from a whole more society level of problems that were coming from this.
I mean, when it comes to android/robots, I grew up in the 80s/90s. I mean, fuck, we got Terminator in there somewhere into the mix.
You obviously haven't seen Albert Pune's amazing series of Nemesis movies, have you?
No, probably not.
Oh, okay. The schlock must flow.
I know, right?
Well, you got Doctor Who with Cybermen.
Yeah. And the Daleks themselves too. So,
but were Daleks really an android/robot? Because it was.
Those were cyborgs.
But the thing is that at a certain point you're looking at But the thing is, the Cybermen are also we're also cybernetics. Because at some point, yeah. So if you're going to say Cybermen, you got to lump the Daleks in there because they're the same line of thought. Just one went in altered directions.
One has an armor shell around them, and the other one is actually a
robot. Yeah,
a robot. I was going to say Tin Man, but that's a better way to put it.
Yeah, but they're both.
I'm certain that the Tin Man had some influence in there. You can't look at the two and not see it. You know, they were using the same exact silver spray paint, for Christ's sake.
Right. But there's just things you gotta like. And there's a lot of people out there I know who would gladly do exactly what those two groups would do, or did in that series.
Hell, My ringtone for my former mother-in-law was "Exterminate from the Daleks." That was a great
I can
song.
understand that. I got that reference.
um, I mean, going back, I mean, movies. Finding a way to just put robots in your campaign. I'm not saying you can't do in fantasy, but it just doesn't have the same to me. And opinions may differ, but if I want android robots, I want Traveler. I want sci-fi RPG, not so much an heavy fantasy RPG. I mean, granted, I could play, as I said, a Warforge with druid levels, and I could be a transformer.
Golem Masters are also another ones who do it really, really well. Like if you're into constructs, you can do that shit really easy. But the problem is that you gotta find a GM who will let you actually do constructs.
That's fair.
Most don't.
What about you, Shadow? Was there any books, literature, movies, cartoons? I mean, I realize cartoons for you were drawn on the wall when you were a kid. It's okay. We understand.
One day he's going to stab you. You know that, right?
This is what he enjoys from his little brother, I think.
No, I'll just send him a package.
Yeah, from California. Send back to that.
Oh no, it wouldn't be from California.
Anyways, going back.
Smarter than that. To be honest, I can't really think of any. I've had players, want to do the constructs, and there's a really famous monster in Arduin called a Doomguard, which is basically a black suit of full plate that wields two-handed swords that can literally teleport at will. So, and they come at you in the scores, and they come at you, scores at a time, and good luck. You should just run. Because they will just Cuisinart your ass out of existence. That's the only thing that I can think of that really would be considered the close facsimile to robots, other than things from like science fantasy, Star Wars and other stories like that. It just doesn't work. It's too close to being sole property of science fiction without them just being a more or less mindless army that the party or the players need to defeat. It just, there's some missing element that just kind of precludes it from being a full-on fantasy thing. Now, someone's going to go out there and try and make it, but it's going to end up being, the big army of bad guys, kind of like maybe even in Krull. I think that was right.
Like
the undead. We've already got the undead. It's wise. What's the point? You could do it so much easier with magic, even though most GMs will never let you actually do stuff like that. But theoretically, it should be easier. Yeah, you're right. There's so many GMs out there that it's too much of a challenge. It's too hard for me to create a challenge for you once you could do these kinds of things. I'm like, that's horseshit, and you're a crappy GM. Just do the work. Spend more than 25 minutes on the night's adventure. Maybe actually think about it and put some work into it. Your players have put the time into building up these characters, and now you want to retire them at 20th level. What? You're never going to get another game started because they're just going to go, so we're just going to go up to 20th level and make new characters.
Well,
I'm not in for that.
Realistically, I mean, I know it took me almost 4 years from level 1 to level 20 in a campaign I was in. There's a large amount of time.
Right, but what about the players that advance in 2? Get it done in 2 because they play more often. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could be invited to those tables. Fuck.
I hear you.
I've seen a lot of those tables when they assemble, and I think you're better off at the tables that you're at, guys.
I mean, XP aside, we're not. XP is not androids. XP is what you get when you build or knock down said android. I've always in the back of my head, if somebody says, "Well, I want to play a Warforged," okay. What language do I speak? Common and Gnome. Why Gnome? Because Gnomes built the Warforged because they got tired of everybody else's shit.
That's perfectly
don't know that.
acceptable in your particular campaign. I don't know why it's really a big issue.
I mean,
Learn
Gnomes
other
are like-
languages if they're truly sentient, and use an intelligence stat in their character sheet that determines, learnable language is what they can't learn a new language. Then they're pretty much
yeah,
a
they can,
programmed
just starting
robot
off.
and not really a.
I mean, fresh off the line, it's just those two languages.
Certainly, that's fair. I mean, look at the instructions we get when we buy, a robot. It's only got a couple of languages in the instruction manual. So yeah.
What was that line? Bam, bam, bam. Russian components. Bam, bam, bam. American component. Bam, bam, bam. All made in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Charlotte, exactly. Challenge. I think, however, Charlotte, if you start doing those things earlier than once they're way up high level, it stretches out the story and the adventure and makes the story more believable from the very get-go. If you have, the Jimmy Olsen and the Lois Lane in the character's life that they have to protect or care about, as opposed to, oh, now they're rich and famous, and now these people want to glom onto them. It'd be like, screw you guys, you're just you're just a weakness that I'll now have if I care about you. But if they care about all the way through the beginning, then it makes it more likely that they're not going to just go, nope. It's just me and the party members. We don't care about all the NPCs, which is an attitude I see a lot and absolutely despise.
Hey,
The fact that there are NPCs in the world and they're not just, tools for you to use and barter with, to get to the next dungeon, then, I really don't want to be in that kind of game. I want some, connection to the actual world to be felt. I
just want to say
it
how
makes for a
amazing
really
that was.
two-dimensional, crappy world.
You bleeped out for half a fucking second, came back in main stride. It's up there with like one of Kai's rants where he was just full goal. Nothing's gonna stop this particular train, and that was you for a half a second. Bloop, gone. Came back full stride. Awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. I figured maybe I might get lucky one time, and that happens. But yeah, if you really don't have the time for that, I get it, but might I suggest any one of these wonderful board games instead for you?
See, I have a player in my game on Saturday. You know who I'm talking about when I say this. But he kind of runs away from social encounters. It's like watching a 11-year-old boy that's been getting the occasional hard-on get real scared around girls, and he just decides, I don't want to be here, and he runs away.
Oh, that's not me.
But instead of him being away with the girls, he just like, oh god, they're gonna fucking start role-playing games again. So he puts his microphone on mute and he starts playing his guitar. It's kind of fun.
I get it, but I just gotta wonder, was it a previous game or group that taught him this type of behavior? Not saying it's bad, because it's pretty damn common in the game world, or is it just something else? That maybe too many video games, or not caring about that sort of thing, because eventually it will get stale even for him. Maybe not this campaign, but someday it would be like, gosh, it would be cool if now that my character's getting up there in years, he had a family, and then I could run the kid or the grandkids or something like that. That kind of stuff is actually pretty damn fun. Nice blade. When'd you get it?
Okay. Father's Day gift that my daughter dropped off earlier today.
Gotcha.
Who needs beer when your kids give you blades, right?
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Jackie is notoriously awful at doing that sort of thing. You'd never guess, would you?
If I ran, majority of this panel knows 3.5 and Pathfinder. I realize, Shadow, you know Pathfinder-ish. I don't know if you really jumped into 3.5 at all.
He would be able to do it. He'd be fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I would need help with the feats just because there's so damn many of them, and I'm running out of storage space up here, so I just can't shove stuff in there that's not going to get used on a regular basis. You guys will get there. You'll get there.
I know.
I
have nothing to do with that.
I love the idea of when 3.5 out. It might have been for earlier to 3.5. I know it's up for 5e, but Space Jammer.
Spelljammer.
Sorry. Anyways,
We understood what you were saying.
I love the idea of doing like a He-Man, half technology, half magic style world. I think those would be really cool because you get people who really want to do the robots. I want to build robots or I want to be an android. Kind of gets their kick in. Then guys like, well, I just want my swords and sandals. Well, here's your sword and sandals. And this is, if you're a good enough DM or storyteller, you can merge the two ideas and you got more or less He-Man. And I think in the right setting, an android versus with a barbarian or wherever the party would work at could be a really, really good thing if the DM handles it well. And I'm not saying all the pressure should be on the DM, but if he wants to not make everybody happy, but be able to add random things into his world, he's got to be fairly quick on his feet.
He just has to do one thing. Embrace Gonzo. If you can do that, you can literally run anything. Literally anything.
That's true.
So, I wasn't here last week. Out of dumb curiosity, I think we got into androids because of your game, Shadow.
Pardon?
That's how this became like. Was it your game?
I'm assuming that it had some, small part to play in the inspiration for this because there were a crap ton of androids, which spoiler technically that's kind of a misconception. I think Jaide would probably attest to that. There was something going on with that race of creatures that I was hoping that you would explore, but it didn't happen just because he had less than 4 hours to run through everything, and not a big deal. It's just I too have always had this curiosity, from let's go with the basics, Bicentennial Man and Data. At what point, are they no longer just a toaster, and they are a living being? Is it physically and spiritually possible for something that was created like that to basically, for all intents and purposes, have what we would call a soul, or at least a spirit, or something like that that makes them different than just a computer?
Feels like we could get into a Battlestar Galactica debate. Sorry.
I wish I knew more about that. I was just thinking that, and I also realized I don't know enough about that show to play along.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Because the second series, obviously minus the ending, the which was just absolutely asinine. Yep. They why wouldn't they? Or why couldn't they? unless you want to go from it from a strictly religious point of view, which I can go there, but I think it's possible, at least in fiction. In the real world, don't know. We're so far away from that sort of thing that none of us will be alive to ever, get a real answer, unless
man.
unless somebody comes out of the skies and lands on the White House lawn and says, "Oh, hey, by the way, we're androids, and yes, we do have souls." We're never going to know that one, so it's just a fun thing to debate and get into, because it would be interesting, to imagine such a thing, especially with like Kai's character's situation. He was a ghost in a machine. Does that no longer make him, a valid life form? Is he just more machine than soul in the machine, or is he? And
by that
does he show that-
situation,
I
his
am more
soul
machine than man
was his.
now.
No, wait. His soul was his spirit. He's a spirit trapped in a machine. So
Yep.
your soul becomes a ghost who is running the machine. A very angry, hate peasant ghost, but he was a ghost running a machine. So, I mean, without diving into the dogma thought processing of the Catholic Church and when it comes to souls and who and what does not have them, I think you could give robots. I mean, some of the most interesting robots in media are the ones with sense of humor, or Data, for example.
HK-47.
Oh God, yes.
I'm not catching that reference.
HK-47 is hilarious.
He's possibly my favorite of all mechanoids of all time. Just he was so perfectly written and drawn, and just everything about it. He's a character from Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, all right. Well,
Observation. Yeah. These people are targets. Statement: I shall kill them now. We should kill them, sir.
You say androids with souls, and
you also brought up Ghost in the Shell. When in the future in those stories where people can, their bodies are dying, but they can download their consciousness. Is that just a facsimile of their consciousness, or is it really their consciousness?
That was
I think everybody.
That's one of the big questions that was presented in that series was, where does the soul stop, and where is it? That was one of the most interesting things that came out of that series. So,
well,
it's kind of like in Star Trek when you go into the transporter. Are you dead, and that's just a meat puppet walking around, or does your soul follow those molecules?
We're not getting into the transporter argument because
it's a very similar argument. Once you cut that sort of connection, is it? It's the same thing. I get it.
Step into the transporter. It scans you, breaks you down to your base atoms.
You're dead.
You're dead. Then it 3D prints you somewhere else.
Okay. Do you remember Scotty?
I know the argument. Trust me, I've been in this argument a few dozen times. But
yep, they're dead. Kirk's dead. They're all dead. They all died way before episode 1. They were all dead.
The Federation is a soulless monstrosity.
Scotty being trapped in the in the teleporter buffers for like 60 odd years.
Lady Rocks.
The next generation finds him, pops him back out. They 3D print his fat Scottish body out there. Has to steal the captain's whiskey because everything else sucks from that, from the future. Yeah, no. I get the argument. I really do. But I'm sorry, but when you get scrapped down to your base atoms, you're dead.
Therefore, the same argument would follow with Android, or not androids, but transfer intelligences, that it's just an algorithm floating around in the machine. But we don't want that. As readers of the fiction, we want to literally hope for the best, and that would include, the fact that yes, your soul doesn't, go where it's supposed to go until you're technically dead, and that means out of the story, right?
right?
Unless the DM has a reason to bring you back later on.
Right. No, I mean like in Ghost in the Machine or
Oh yeah.
or Ghost in the Shell or Star Trek. We want those characters to still be walking around with their souls intact until the bitter end.
I just have this odd feeling that none of us should be going to any Star Trek conventions in the future with that what we just said about the Trek and necromancy in the future.
Trek. Okay, if you've been part of the a Trek community, that's a usual argument right there. That's an icebreaker. That's how you start a conversation. You don't just go, "Oh, well."
That's
basically right after you ask them if they've ever kissed a girl, you then tell them they're all dead. They've been dead since before the pilot episode because they all went in the transporter. So you're just watching a bunch of meat puppets.
Shadow, did you see the Saturday Night Live back in 1989 with William Shatner?
Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
He's at the Trek Con.
Yeah,
and all the Trek nerds are there. And one of the nerds asked Shatner, "So you have 37 horses on your ranch?" We have 36 actually. But wait, on Thursday, I heard that your mare gave birth to a new foal. And he's like, "Wow, okay, yeah, 37." And he starts looking around at all these guys in Star Trek uniforms from 1966, and the novels in one guy's hand, I Grok Spock, and he just like, "I got to ask you guys something real quick. How many of you have ever kissed a girl? I mean, how many of you have lived? You took something that I did as a lark, and you've turned it into a lifestyle. What the hell is wrong with you?" And I there's like some parts of late 80s Saturday Night Live that I want to play, because that would be one I would force feed my apartment building in San Antonio, because I'm seeing people going out dressed up like superheroes in broad daylight, no convention on, but they're dressed like superheroes, or they're just excessively on spectrum. I don't know which. And I'm not trying to dismantle anybody on spectrum, but these people need a guide. They do not have a guide. They need a guide. They if you saw how they dressed, if you saw how they had their underwear on top of their yoga pants or sweatpants, this is not how you no, this is not it. And then there's another Saturday Night Live episode from early 90s or late 80s where you have Phil Hartman, who's a doctor, and he's done 4,000 births, all female. I'll have to show you guys this after the show, and I'll have to show my Rumble people this on a Sunday. But there's a really good message there, because the family comes in as Bill Murray and Victoria Jackson. She's pregnant as hell. And she's like, "Doctor, does this baby need the surgery?" He's like, yes, it does. I'm so sorry. "Oh, that's fine. That's fine." And Bill Murray's like, "Man, I want a boy. We have 7 girls now." And they leave. And the lady from People magazine asks, "What type of surgery are you doing, doctor?" "Well, sometimes when God makes a baby, he fucks up and he gives the baby testicle rid of that." And she's like, "Doctor, you're destroying a boy. You're murdering a boy's sex organs for your record." No, it's not that. And he gets into this entire just debacle of how he should not be judged for changing little boys and little girls. And it works so well in 2023. I'll put it in chat and you guys can report me to YouTube.
Hey, real quick, Crafting Gamer, I don't remember that. I used to love that show. But I think that's at the heart of it is sort of a weird desire to be able to create the ultimate creation. If we were to be able to create those kinds of machines that had souls, I think that would be, the end all be all of actual creation. If you think of what could be then accomplished with those very things, like the simulants or whatever they were called in Blade Runner.
Synthetics?
Yeah, synthetics. Thank you. I knew it started with an S.
Replicants or
Replicants. Yeah, it's such a great movie and such a terrifying, prospect. I think that was one of the aspects of this conversation that I was surprised to see in the title was the ethics. Are there any? When it comes down to it, eventually, we're gonna get to that point and think that, you know, we can do all that.
There's an interview. Speaking of Blade Runner, the question always was, I always ran into, and I like Blade Runner. I thought it was an interesting movie. I've seen at least 2 of the 3 versions of it. There might be more versions of it that I don't know, but at least 2 of the versions. And the question got put to Harrison Ford: was his character a replicant? And he looks boldly at the guy and says, "Of course he was." So, if anybody's wondering, that's the answer, according to the man who played said character.
Yeah, I can believe it.
I find some holes in that, but that's fine. You know, considering Rachel was like a brand new top of the line, whereas he'd been on the job for, you know, a while at least, you know. And why wouldn't they make a Blade Runner, you know, a little bit more badass instead of getting his ass kicked by any other kind? It's kind of like the Sandman in Logan's Run. You needed the best of the best to do that job. Why would you not make them, you know, the best of the best, and their job is to hunt down the escapees? Oh my God, the freaking hummingbird, like right here. It's like right freaking here. You guys totally missed it. Yeah, so that kind of blows away that logic. You know, I know we would like to have that conspiracy, you know, going on with Blade Runner, but I'm not buying it. You know.
I don't know.
Lady-
I'm just
Lady
the
Talk.
actor who played the character said he was, and you know, I tend you know, who might argue with Harrison fucking Ford?
He can't land a plane. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I it's just so he's an actor, big fucking deal. I've done shit that would make his career look like freaking, you know, a walk in the park.
If you want to
You
throw a
know,
wrench
go do
into the
some real
conversation-
stuff. You know, stop making shitty movies. How about that? How about look at freaking Crystal Skulls and the script and just go, what the fuck? I'm not doing this. You know what I mean?
Hey. In some multiverse, Crystal Scrolls is God's gift to that planet. Not ours, but in some multiverse universe.
I've done all the deep dives into the Crystal Skulls, and that was just an abortion on celluloid.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the undead being just basically the same thing as androids, but with?
I think it is the solution to the desire to have that sort of, you know, creative ability to create your own army and your own image, so to speak.
Well, if
You know, at
that's
some
the
point,
case,
there's going to become a new form of undead that you can create that is, you know, just like us. It doesn't have all the horrible side effects, but yet are still some form of undead, you know, akin to vampires, but, you know, without the side effects and defects. But I think you need those defects, otherwise humanity just gets, you know, pushed to the side, and everybody wants to run those or play Vampire the Masquerade.
Nerdy Art Org says, I haven't
Ogre.
seen Crystal Skull.
Ogre. It's an ogre.
Man, I'm tired. Leave me alone. I haven't seen Crystal Skull, but it still can't be worse than Force Awakens.
That's a hard argument. I don't know. I've seen both, and I'm traumatized from both. So I don't know. But hey, on the bright side, Lucas is looking to buy back Star Wars, and we could get 3 more movies that are done right. Who knows?
No, I'm done.
Press
I'm
X
checked
is
out.
Press X is out.
I'm sorry. I checked out after I realized this is a compilation of daddy issues, one movie after the next.
Hey, it's one of the basic plots. You know, you're cutting out 10% of all the plots and all the stories ever written. I don't have that kind of desire to rewrite all of history and fiction.
So are we putting X to doubt? I doubt Lucas's quality ability to write a movie, or just press F in chat so that way we can say goodbye to Star Wars.
For George Lucas to make a good movie, I'm sorry, but it needs the other guy. The other guy being
His wife,
Spielberg.
Wife. His first wife.
His ex-wife, technically his ex-wife.
Fair enough.
I got a question
And
for
David Prowse.
Nerdy Ogre says the ships in 40K run on souls. So are the ships sentient beings? Kai.
Okay. That depends. Do you want to go with, like, a possible theory into a lot of the ships being a lot of the older ships being leftovers from the dark age of technology, and possibly having, going back even further into the the revolt of the Iron Men? Are we going to talk about the machine spirit possibly being actually sentient? Or are we going to go into a possible theory of the Omnissiah technically being let's.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're basically gonna get as many answers to that question as there are DMs for Dark Heresy. Everyone's gonna have a different opinion, or you're gonna get two. Yes and no. You boil it down, and that find a GM that prescribes to your particular opinion on that matter, and you're good to go.
Right. And I like playing a lot of tech priests, so I tend to often have this debate with people. It's like, where's the Omnissiah fit into this? Well, okay, the Omnissiah fits into the situation here, and then he has the people like, no, I'm from the Navigator Guild, and then you get all the fun starts happening. And remember, everything written in 40K is canon and authentic. Even the counter shoot parts.
I think we could take a page from Mutant Chronicles, and if they were in fact sentient, humanity would have been destroyed or enslaved by them long ago. The Dark Symmetry would have taken over all of that shit, and we would not, have both separate games, which, thank goodness, we do still have them.
Yeah, but since there is one of the Black Library books that deals with with the Crimson Fist Fortress World being hit, and literally the machine spirit for a Land Raider decide that since it no longer has anyone to control it, it just goes into I'm going to get revenge on everybody who killed all my battle brothers, and starts just murderizing everybody in a way that would make Terminators proud. I'm okay with this idea. So
who's this Connor guy?
Trust me. When a Land Raider pretty much goes, I'm here to murder heretics and protect battle brothers, and I'm all out of battle brothers, and this goes into a murder fest with so this giant 80-ton tank is just las cannoning everybody because it hates everyone now because it's got no friends.
Thank you for allowing me to segue into Ogre. Speaking of Ogre,
yes, Ogre and Bolo. Ogre and Bolo.
I actually meant Bolo. Ogre is a blatant ripoff of the Bolo series, which was just what you just said, but turned up to 11. You break the knob off and throw it at your players.
Bolos are just a fun machine that has no equal, and I love it for that reason.
The grossest technological construct ever theorized in all of science fiction when it comes to land-bound entities. It's just if you've never read a Bolo book,
you're dealing with like literally paladin tanks running around as the remnants of a war that's long past. I love that concept.
You know what show needed at least an android of some kind on?
Yes, but
Firefly. So I could just watch Mal abuse the ever-living fuck out of it.
Man, yeah.
I don't know. I liked it as it was.
I'm not saying it wasn't great. It's just him bitching for like a half second at a robot in wherever. You just would have been, I don't know. I think it would have been great. Connell, potatoes, no.
So I can start calling you Potato? Is that what you're saying?
Potato.
Yes.
That right
Potato,
there is
okay, that's
that right there is a hate crime.
You know
What,
what?
call you
That wouldn't be the first time.
No, it's only a war. Yeah, it's only a war crime. It's not a war crime the first time.
You've met Jack, right? The hate crimes, you know, the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree.
You know, here's the parallel between Crystal Scrolls and the Force Awakens. I had a woman come over to my apartment when I lived in Deer Creek, Illinois,
Oh dear
and
God!
we were supposed to enjoy our company together with the Crystal Skulls and then have horizontal refreshment. Well, I fell asleep during the Crystal Skull, and I woke up for the horizontal refreshment. I went to go see a movie years later called The Phantom or The Force Awakens, and The Force Awakens bored me to tears. Bored me so much I fell asleep in the middle of the lightsaber fight, and didn't really like the movie after that because the movie just sucked. It still sucks. It's a piece of shit movie, and I hate everything about Disney Star Wars. No matter what you say, it's going to be just this steaming pile of shit that always smells. If we're talking about Star Wars, it's going to be that pile of shit that's just like ruining the entire thing. And not that Star Wars is great, because we had the holiday special,
Oh God!
the fuck up from
Oh,
how George Lucas was pushed into making Return of the Jedi the third and final piece, making a trilogy instead of making movies further, because Luke wasn't supposed to be done with being a Jedi Knight. He wasn't supposed to be Leia's twin brother. This wasn't supposed to be wrapped up with a shitty bow. It was supposed to go on. There were supposed to be like 5 or 6 movies. The fucking studio fucked this up, and I was forced to accept Ewoks instead of getting Wookiees like the original plan was, because they were supposed to be going to Kashyyyk, but instead, fuck everything about Return of the Jedi. There's only 2 good Star Wars movies, the first one and Empire Strikes Back. The others are moderately passable if you want something on the television.
Up until the Sarlacc pit, Return of the Jedi wasn't awful. There was some good stuff up until the Sarlacc pit, and then Boba Fett, you know, got dumped in there. At that moment, I check out.
I could agree with that.
I check out until Starfleet happens. The fleet battle happens.
didn't mind any Star Wars related movie that does not have the space wizards in it. I tend to like a little bit better. I mean, yes, all Star Wars movies, in my opinion, are just daddy issues one after the other. But what was that movie? Rogue One wasn't bad.
Right.
It wasn't great, but Rogue One was not a bad movie.
The bar
I
is
want my
very
money
well
back for that one. I literally want my money and my two and a half hours back for that movie.
Now there are two Star Wars movies I make my children watch at least once a year, and it didn't have Luke, it didn't have Harrison Ford, it had Ewoks.
Oh no!
Oh
Why?
God! Oh God!
Why no?
Is that Caravan of Courage?
That would be it.
Hey,
Why?
you accused me of a hate crime. What the actual?
There's no daddy issues in that movie.
But Wilford Brimley says fuck on ABC Network,
Which made it amazing.
There's no daddy in that movie.
I know.
But daddies are fun.
Well, there's the answer. Ripley Scott, the director of Blade Runner, states that Decker is a replicant.
Yeah, I remember that. That was when I remembered that Ridley Scott wasn't the writer of the series. He didn't make the world for replicants. Now it's kind of weird how you have this movie or Blade Runner and Soldier with Kurt Russell and Alien all taking place within the same millennium, which is how that's supposed to be done according to the people at the movie studios. That's all supposed to be one giant continuous world nobody's ever explored.
I don't mind the aliens as a part of that world. Take out the Predator. Predator needs to be on its own, own thing. But if you leave,
I disagree, but I get it.
But if you leave the aliens and Blade Runner all together, that's perfectly fine, because personally, my favorite android will always be Bishop. I like the guy who played the character. I like the character, especially when they shove that guy's hand down on the table and they play Let's Lose a Finger. Yeah, so.
I like what she said there. I like it. Listen, it's only against the Geneva Convention if you get caught.
That is true.
It's only
you don't see a bunch of bars in front of me, so I think
It's the Geneva checklist. It's not.
Geneva checklist. Good thing we don't have that in Bruce's campaign because there'll be a few of us.
Yeah, and me and Nerdy Ogre, that Star Wars died for me right before the Yuzhan Vong became part of the novel series. And then they killed off Chewbacca and they kind of miraculously brought him back. And then Disney bought and ruined the entire thing. So I just chop it right before the Yuzhan Vong, which were really overpowered bad guys for the Star Wars universe anyway. And up to that point, I have a good time. The novels were really good.
Man, I don't know about that, Flatey. Not that one. Not that one. The last one he posted at 8:58.
Real men play that knife game with their dicks.
No.
Ewok pox is real.
I can I have those couple of minutes back also? Just tack them onto the.
Was he in the Millennium?
Yeah, I was just thinking that Millennium was pretty good. Yeah.
That was such a weird show. It felt like it was supposed to be the replacement for the X-Files, but X-Files just never went away.
So I'm not going to be highlighting chat here. I'll start things. We'll get to it later. But I want to really. We got a half hour left, and I want to ask that big fucking question. We'll ask it to the three of you, and then I'll answer. And I'll start with Kai because Kai, I never want to tread on his time because he's the one that has to go to bed first. Kai, if you have a Android in your possession, you own it. You own it. What's ethically wrong? Where's the line for you? Where do you not value whatever things may happen? Do you like the Android? Do you want the Android to have a long service life, or are you treating it like a fucking 1979 Maverick or whatever year the Maverick came out with a matching gas cap?
I was about to say it. The question is: the car as reliable as the Maverick? Honestly, I'm probably going to. I will treat it with about as much care and concern as my car.
That was awful. That was
What?
awful. Not you. The last chat. Bruce put up.
Oh.
Ouch!
Okay.
I tricked myself.
No, brutally honest. It's the car. I mean, I'll care for it. I'll care for its well-being, but in the end, I will care very much for its central processing unit and memory banks. I will feel very, very sad if I was to lose that. But I will look at my best friend, the CPU, and go, "We'll get you a new body," and it'll probably bitch and complain at me, beeping at me, and whatever binary. And I will look at it and go, "I'm sorry, but now, unlike say me who can't replace my body, I can fix. I can replace his limbs. No, I hit its limbs, no problem. So now, mind you, the moment that I have the ability to replace my limbs and body really quickly, then we're on the same page. We're both going, okay, save my brain, I save yours? Yeah. Because fuck our bodies. Right.
Now, in the same millennium, Kai, we have androids, and you are a 2-star general.
Yep.
We have cost to worry about.
Ah, fuck. Okay, now here's my. Now let's look from that angle. I'm going to then open up a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to compare the cost to replace an android with the cost of the VA bill for a human body. And if the equation says the soldier ends up being cheaper than the robot, I'm sorry, but when I do all the math out for VA, cybernetic replacements, treatment, PTSD treatment, and everything else, and it ends up being cheaper than the robot, you better believe I'm going to throw the robot away. In a heartbeat. I will not slow down because 30 years of retirement plus injuries plus treatment plus other things versus robot. Boy, my stock in Raytheon will pay itself off in the long run. And I will look to Raytheon, Boeing, and Intel and start saying, crank those fuckers out like crazy. And then watch General Electric and go, we'll get right on it, sir, and start cranking those fuckers out. Meanwhile, my humans, who I can't replace and who are very expensive, and because I gotta look at this, it's not just simply that. I could crank out how many robots, how fast, or do I gotta spend 6 months to a year training one guy, and he's got an 18-year replacement rate. So if I can churn out a human being from birth, train them from birth to adulthood, and so my replacement rate here is about 19 to 20 years to get a comparable human being to my robot, or General Electric gives me a new one in 6 months for a fraction of the cost. Yeah, you better believe I'm going to invest in giant robots.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm a soulless evil technocrat, but you better believe me, human beings are expensive, slow to replace, and valuable. Robots are not.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could fault you for that. Not to mention that sort of X factor. You know, why are life forms more important than machines? Well, because we feel that there's something special or magical in the living creature versus the machine. You know, when that changes, then everything changes.
Right, and now, mind you, if you can give me a vat-born creature that I can literally just churn out through rapid growth hormones and get a human being from a human being I trained and programmed through cybernetic implants and all that, have them born and ready to go in less than I can walk over to the factory and go, I need 10,000 combat trained soldiers in 3 years, and then the bioengineers go, we'll get right on that. Then again, the equations change and I get to do math. But right now, 20 years, a 20-year replacement rate is kind of crap, and I don't want that. And I also don't want to bury an entire generation. But I do want those orcs over there on the other side of that river to die. Very, very brutally.
Right, and what exactly are you fighting for? Right?
That's not the point.
I don't give it.
Fighting for a cause is not the point here.
Here's the thing. I'm a general. I don't give a shit about what we're fighting for. That is for politicians and the guys in charge. My job is to prosecute the war and end the war for my sides to win. I don't give a fuck. My ethics are simply, I want to make sure that when I'm told to shoot the fucker across the street, I will shoot the fucker across the street and make sure there's minimized damage along the way. I do my job and get it done. I don't care about ethics. I'm looking at how do I get the job done in the most efficient means possible. And if that means I march 10,000 robots across the street to go beat somebody to death with sticks, by God, I'm going to do that. And if that means I gotta fire a missile that turns into swords, yeah, I'm gonna do that too.
I've seen that one on
Fat Electrician.
Yeah. That was a good
The
video.
Ginsu missile.
Yeah. Ginsu missile.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm not looking at it from an ethical or humane point of view. I'm looking at it from I want to get the job done. In the end, if my enemy is not going to be nice or civil or social, I'm not going to be either. I'm also a cruel and evil person who doesn't really like a lot of things. So I apologize for not being the moral
it's not
individual.
What I meant was, you part of winning means to have people left that can enjoy the victory. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you cannot sacrifice, all but the last two humans to get that point.
Look, in the end, as long as it's my country's flag flying behind me, that's all that matters. That's all
Even
that
if
matters.
there's nobody, even if there are no survivors.
There's going to be survivors.
The 1%.
Yeah, but you asked me. Bruce asked me from the point of view of if I'm this guy. Yes, that's how I'm going to prosecute this, and it's going to be a cold, miserable point of view. Don't ever let it get to the point where I have to be cold and miserable. But realize that if it comes to the point of being cold and miserable, I'm going to be colder and more miserable than everybody else. And hope to God I can kill them all fast enough.
I have such the different point of view on this. I
Go
don't
ahead.
trust robots. I will never trust robots.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
You'll never what? You froze up.
I will never trust androids. I will never trust AIs. Every time I get anywhere near this conversation, I get the make-believe bullshit. Well, there will be a programmer that will put these rules into said robots. I'm like, okay, that's nice. But what about the mad scientist who doesn't? Or the asshole who doesn't? And human life is cheap.
Human life is very cheap.
What?
Human life is very cheap.
Human life is very fucking cheap.
It can be, but it can also be incredibly expensive.
It's not can be. It is. If you don't believe me, look out through the annuals that throughout our fucking history. We have thrown teenagers, kids, and adults to an idealism, right or wrong. Life is cheap, hands down. Life is cheap.
But we've also spent, countless money to train certain individuals to do the ultimate, tasks out there.
Yeah.
We're at that point right now in our world history where we can do that. But
right.
You have a robot. Let's say you have an army of robots. You have an army of androids out there, and they take the field. The other guy found a way to hack their system and turn those androids back on you.
Yep.
Now, I will never trust an android. Humans, in other words, you can reason with humans, either through money or idealism. And if they're eating the Kool-Aid that you're serving, they will die for another scoop of that ice cream.
They will. So,
would I treat a robot with respect and all that if I had an android? Let's say I had an android, whatever. Yeah, I treat it with respect because it is a tool. You don't look down at your hammer and say, "Wow, I'm going to push you through cow shit today just because I can." No, it's a tool. That's what androids, robots, AI are. They are a tool for us to use.
Did I buy that hammer at Harbor Freight?
I certainly
no. You got it at Sears, and it has a lifetime warranty.
Man, Sears doesn't exist anymore. Sears, that warranty's now crap. Sears is gone. But like I said, if if I'm buying a tool that I know is going to be only used 2 to 3 times, I'm going to Harbor Freight, and you better believe it. You motherfucker, you better goddamn work and snap, motherfucker, and then throw it across the goddamn wall. Yes.
For some odd reason, I want to put cameras up at Kai's business, and I just want to see him like have fucking rickets and fucking rages, and I just want to see him like table flip. I do. I know that doesn't sound fun, but I would love to watch Kai work.
It's hilariously bad.
Androids, man. In a war type situation, I will always throw, in my point of view, I will always throw people at the cause before I put a machine that can be turned against me with a couple buttons being pushed and somebody on the other side a little bit smarter than the guy on my side.
Connell, I completely agree with you ultimately, but yeah, I'm also pragmatically bad at my job.
Oh, so. No, I get it. I saw Terminator way too early in my life. It scarred me. It touched me in a no-no box. I don't know. I just don't like robots. I don't like technology. I like technology to a certain degree, but I'm still suspicious, as hell.
The technocrat in me is going, I understand. We'll fix that, but I understand.
Yeah, like, hey, I need you to put this mouth guard in your mouth, and we're going to attach these 2 things to your head, and when you taste ice cream in the back of your throat, you're good. Wait, what? Now,
Shh. It's okay. You'll enjoy it when it's done.
Oh my God! But human life. I mean, we don't really have orphanages anymore, but we have state-ran facilities with kids that will never have a home. Shove them into the military.
Damn.
I'm being a dick. I get that. I'm being a dick.
No.
But if I had somebody clean and cook for me as an android, that'd be awesome. I don't want to cook. I barely ever want to cook for myself.
You're right, but what if said android started behaving,
out the fucking door it goes. With a baseball-sized dent in the side of its where the head should be.
See, here's where I differ from that situation. I'm getting old. I'm older than most of you guys. Some of you by 20 years. Imagine you're 90. All your family's, completely flown the coop. You're in a nursing home. They don't give a rat's ass about you. I could see how humans could develop feelings, or at least, especially, when senility and those sorts of things start coming into play, having a nice, android take care of you, when no one else will.
Oh yeah.
I'd be inclined to treat
I'm
it like
down
a living creature.
I've joked around and not joked around all at the same time. If it gets to a point where I can't wipe my own ass and I need somebody else to do it, take me out to the fucking shed. But if R2D2 or whatever imaginary fucking android robot has the ability to wipe my ass, I'll keep marching along.
That's my point. I've spent a lot of time in and around nursing homes, and that is going to be the number one use for them when they get to a certain technological level, taking care of the people that no one else wants to take care of. And the nicer and the more amiable we can make them, giving some quality of life to people at the end, especially those folks who've done so much and then get shit on in their last years, completely forgotten about.
The word you're looking for is dignity. Giving a little bit of dignity at the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Either that or we Logan's Run.
Right. Well, that's the goal for the powers that be, but I'm going to fight that shit tooth and nail.
I mean, here's the question. You haven't been touched for a while. You're still a young man. There's a new model that looks like actress of your choice. And for $5.99, you can rent her out for a couple hours. Are you going to say no?
$5.99? Are you shitting me? It's going to cost a lot more than that to sterilize and clean that bitch.
Damn.
Yeah, you're gonna have to raise that price up to at least,
Well,
$49.99.
how much is bleach? How much does a gallon of bleach cost?
Not much.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Well, see, the thing is the goal is to make them cheap enough so that every single guy in Japan can own one, and it's going to be cheaper than a car payment.
I know a teenager that lives in California that could probably spend some quality time with a robot just to get the stick out of his ass.
That won't happen.
Yeah. I
I
somehow
love this.
feel.
I love this young man as a nephew, but
I think he would. I think he's so far beyond that we're all going to be shocked. When we see him taking the oath in the Oval Office.
God, I didn't know I was living in dead zone.
I'll be
Charlotte
long dead
Williams
before-
asks, would the bleach burn you?
Well, no.
Yeah, if they didn't clean it out properly, hell yeah.
No, you just shoot some bleach up there, have the robot do the hustle shuffle, and
I'm pretty certain any designer, any engineer worth his salt is going to figure out a way to, have a system. You just hook it up and then, compressed air and cleaning fluid, and you're good to go.
My question is Jade still watching us? Because I can just see
I don't know if you guys heard, but there are, there's like the sex dolls out there. There's actually there are actual brothels that rent them out.
Yeah, I know of them. I've heard of them, I should say.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. You've got to.
I guarantee you, Bad Dragon's already working on it. So.
Yeah, I mean, is there really any point, when we've gotten to that point? But apparently there is.
Was it 6 Nations? Yeah, 6 Nations. 6 Nations. Warm soap and water, no harsh chemicals. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. No snoo mode.
Boo.
It's kind of like the internet. The running joke that it was made so people could share porn. Well, the same is going to be for robots.
Yup.
Connell?
Yeah.
What about you personally owning a fleshlight? Is there an ethical line you don't cross, or is everything? There
is a religious line I don't cross when it comes to that. I'm Catholic. Self whatever is a sin. No.
Pretty
Okay. I can
sure
quote
we've
the
seen
Bible.
you commit other sins, but okay, that's the hill you want to die on. I can respect that.
I like being miserable. What can I say?
Hey, at least you admit it.
I once read the smarter you are, the more miserable you are. So I know why Kai and me are so damn miserable.
I know I'm miserable. I don't pretend to be anything else besides it.
So what are you saying? I'm an idiot? Fuck you.
No, I'm just saying I'm miserable.
I'm just saying you're
never
happy.
miserable. I've gone out of my way to make sure that I don't have to do that, but I started early.
It's called drugs, ladies and gentlemen.
No, that was the reason I got to retire at the age I did. I really worked at it really, really hard.
But I think androids, going back to the original idea for the Tonight Show, androids in campaigns, if you can make them work and you got somebody who's wanting to play one, it can be a very interesting accent to one's game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have any areas that are really gray areas that you find it really hard to talk, Connell?
No, I'll talk about damn near anything. I got my own personal. I have rules that I follow. I gave myself rules. I learned years ago if I don't follow set rules, I'll probably be in prison by now because I can
Probably.
damn near justify almost anything.
Except banging a robot.
I don't have a problem banging a robot if the robot is, is. I see the dilemma in that situation. If the robot looked like 7 of 9, I might think about it. All right,
Yeah.
because 7-9 is she wasn't exactly an android, but she was a Borg. So take that
Cyborg.
where you want to put it. What, Bruce?
I'm just thinking to myself.
I blame 7 and 9 for Obama, and y'all.
Yeah, I recognize that story. 7 of 9 screwed up everything for us.
Shadow, I'll explain at a later date. It's okay.
It
Yeah,
only
I
takes
didn't
30
watch.
seconds.
I didn't watch that iteration of Star Trek.
Well, no, there was a lady on Star Trek that became very popular. Her husband was a high school administrator. He was not of a certain blue party in Illinois, and he started going for politics, and he went up against the 44th president of the United States, who his special move is to open up sealed documents. And that's what they did. They opened up the documents as to why did you get divorced from Jerry Ryan? And come to find out it was all the sex club stuff. And if he would have been a Democrat, he would have been hailed as a hero and stunning and brave. And his wife would have been really lambasted. How dare you divorce your diverse and inclusive husband? But no, he didn't do that. And so we got Obama as a state rep. And then once Obama got that taste of power, he just went up to presidency and was like, I need in. And they brought him in. Sorry.
That's jacked up.
It is, but it's all Jerry Ryan's fault.
Sort of, not really. Sort of, not really. I say that to be a smart ass. I blame 7 and 9. That's just me being a smart ass.
But I think the toaster aspect, like you can do what the fuck you want to your Android.
Yeah.
I think as long as the Android doesn't decide I'm going to upload what the sensors are receiving, and everybody can see you make a fool of yourself and just how bad you abuse me. As long as it doesn't happen to have that situational control to where it puts you on blast on social media.
That or downloads the movie Teeth and goes for an upgrade.
Long ago, there was a movie. There was a movie that took some of the best aspects of Alien and some of the best aspects of Blade Runner, and then they made this movie called Hardware, and it really is not that good. Its parts are much better than the complete piece, but Hardware is interesting, and it is a not the first foray into boobs you should have if you're a little boy. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, yeah, just don't trust robots. Just the concept. Nope. I just don't.
You know, I'd go with a Popeye Doyle remark right now, but I'd probably be canceled.
Really quick, going back to transporters. I believe Bones and the Doctor from Next Generation, the older lady, were the only 2 characters from that TV show that I remember that do not teleport. They'll take
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Bones and the other Doctor are the only 2 people that are still alive. The rest are 3D.
Yeah, they even convinced poor Barkley to off himself by stepping into the transporter.
No, Bones was on the away team, I thought, in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, I'm sure if you go back through the original series, you probably find more episodes that he actually was a member of an away team.
He probably was. I just remember the first episode of Next Generation. It's like, wait, why is this person taking a transporter ship here? Oh, he doesn't do. He doesn't like to be transported. He does the beamers. So tonight's topic was interesting. I love the chat hung out with us and went down this really weird rabbit hole of what the fuck were we drinking.
I haven't gone through Shadow
Yeah,
yet.
I may actually continue it on Saturday night, just because it's a sci-fi shadow chat, and I haven't done this one.
What would you fuck a robot? That's not family friendly.
No. There's other.
That's a whole different conversation.
Right?
Yeah, that's yeah.
I
Um,
mean,
If the androids defy aging, I'm creating a bot of Ida Bergforth, and I'm going to have little snoo kids.
oh god.
Orange Mankind.
Oh, God.
Dear Automata.
I can't think of her name. She's an Italian actress. Oh my god. What was
Sophia
her
Loren?
name? Who?
Sophia Loren?
No, but she was beautiful too.
Monica Bellucci?
That's the one.
Oh, both of those will help plenty of men through that awkward period of puberty. I tell you what.
Superman
I was
had a
thinking
hell-
Carla DeVito, but you guys probably don't remember her.
There's so much
Yeah,
degeneracy.
she was all right. She had great gams.
Hey,
Great,
if
what-
Meatloaf had a chance with her, I'm just saying, you know.
I'm a far more handsome man than Meatloaf. Apparently, the World Economic Forum is talking that we are just meat, and we are going to be put to use for their robot army.
What can I say? I'm just a meat sickle.
I am a meat popsicle.
Not on my watch.
Superman had a hell of a time against that supercomputer that Richard Pryor built.
Hey, real quick, Bruce, I've been meaning to ask you.
Does it have
Look-
6 megabytes of memory?
Are you looking at the camera?
Yeah, the Legends Eternal by Julie Bell. I had
You
two
have
of
some
those
of these?
boxes. I had two of
Okay.
those boxes.
Okay, you're the only person I've met yet that's ever seen those before.
I'll have to go
that's
through.
amazing.
They're smaller figurines. They're not quite Reaper scale. They're about 20
No, they're
millimeter.
25 mil. They're definitely 25 mil.
The original print of those was 20 or like 18 millimeter. They were not as big as this. They were not comparable to the Whiz Kids or the
No,
Bone.
Whiz Kids are 28s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandma says she has one of those boxes there, Shadow.
All right, that's two people.
But yeah, those are really good box sets, and they're affordable miniatures. There used to be a website for their own RP game that you could download, and it pretty much went nowhere. But if you wanted to have an RP game based on a miniature game or on miniatures, you could.
I was at
I guess
garage sale.
Arduin and Emperor's Choice bought them out. And mind you, this was
I'm not upset.
What was it? Not today, but
they're
yesterday.
25 mil.
My
According to
kids,
the bot.
my kids went to a garage sale and found Hero Quest, the board game.
Nice find.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, as far as I know, not all the pieces there. I'm like, I don't care if all the pieces are. I just want what pieces are there for, if I can ever get a fucking physical game up and going again.
Believe it or not, if you were to piece those pieces out on eBay, you could be looking at up to 10 to 40 bucks a piece.
I think they paid $5 for the whole damn thing.
That's usually the way it is. People don't realize what they have. Basically throw it away for less than pennies on the dollar, and somebody goes out and just, yeah.
So since we're about that time,
Well, hold on. I want to ask Shadow.
Okay.
Shadow, where are the ethics for you with having an Android in your possession?
Wow.
It would really depend on its capabilities. What I would use it for. Part of me would possibly use it to enact revenge because I was in my decrepit state of ancientness and send it out on missions. Or it would be wiping my ass and helping me to in and out of the shower, cooking my meals, that sort of thing. It would really depend on the situation, whether I'm
Both
gonna
at the same time.
risk of getting it pregnant. I again, I can't even imagine being at that point.
Yeah, the oldest man
Yeah.
to ever get somebody pregnant was like in their 80s.
I think there was an
Right,
older
right,
guy.
right.
I thought there was a
But
guy in his
but the,
90s.
There could have
right,
been.
but who would raise it, etc. Because I've
The
already got
robot?
Jack. He gets every. Yeah, I wouldn't want it to be Jack's responsibility to raise his own brother, so to speak, or half brother or whatever, and interfere with his life. So there's none of that going on. Yeah, I'd really have to see. I could picture a lot of different situations and scenarios and things I would do, but for the most part, my hope is that humanity, when it gets to that point, will do the right thing, and put the safeguards in there that need to be there, use them for life saving as opposed to life taking. But I know better. That's never going to be the case.
You mean
As soon as they can put them on the battlefield, they'll put them on the battlefield. And
You know,
you mean adapting robots? Our future robot overlords to make up for the fact that all of our danger-haired liberal women who don't want to have kids are suddenly all desperate, sad sack, lonely individuals who have no family, no loves, or no life, and thus have to depend on robots to take care of them because they abandoned their ability to be part of society so they can scream. I scream and whine like complete morons until their 40s, and then I realize I'm sad and alone, and my body doesn't work no more. I have no family. I have no loved ones. But thank God I have ChatGPT. It'll take care of me. Oops, I pooped myself because I had too much anal and I can't take care of my body anymore. Too many drugs, my brain doesn't work. Thank God ChatGPT is here to take care of me. Yay, government.
when it comes to androids in a war, I absolutely hate quoting Captain America because he's the one person that annoys the ever living fuck out of me. Him and Batman. Most heroes annoy the ever living fuck out of me, half measures. But anyways,
color, no one's surprised.
I hate half measures. Anyways, but that being said, when it comes to androids in the warfare, the safest hands will be our own.
That is a deadly thought that you just had there. The safest hands will be our own.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
Shadow-
not Tommy. I don't
Shadow-
want everybody to have what I have. I like what I have. They can go get their own fucking shit.
Shadow, the last question I have for you before I answer, what do you feel about like the expenditure of Android troops?
In what way?
If you have androids, if you have an army at your disposal, how are you going to treat your android troops? Are they just cannon fodder? Are they?
It depends on the programming. If we've tricked them into thinking they're alive and things like that, then I would probably do my best to inspire them to fight at their best, so that they can come back and make android babies. But if they're nothing more than killdozers, then get out there and do your job.
Wait. I want to dial back to what you just said. If we trick them.
Killdozers.
I like the concept of I don't mind the concept of killdozers, but if we trick them enough to make them believe that they are alive, good sir, you just started Skynet. You are to blame.
If someone else has already done that, I will try to inspire them to do their best. I'm not going to just coldly, put them out to fight without, a reason to without motivation. Think about it. potentially,
Here's the
if we
motivation.
get to that, if we got them to that point where they actually, look up to us or want to fight for us, then yeah, I want them to,
Okay.
go out there
Motivation.
and
Android
Right.
motivation 00110011001111 go.
that's you, not me. If we've got them to a point where they do almost all of the things that a life form needs to do to be considered a life form, including reproduce, etc., then who knows? It's not going to hurt anybody if I treat something with respect. And,
no, I'm not saying that. I think that you should treat your dog, your pets with respect. I think if you work in a certain job,
I
you should
kind of
treat.
look at it like this, Connell. I know you're not going to appreciate it, but watching the Star Wars movies, Luke knew they were robots or whatever you want to call them, but yet he still treated them like they were alive. And for whatever reason, maybe it's just a fantasy or whatever, they seem to appreciate that. And I see no harm in that, because what if that's just another version of somebody being reincarnated and
I don't have
they
a
do a short
problem.
straw and they come back as an R2 unit instead of a frog,
In that situation, I completely agree with you. A sand farmer, no, I'm sorry, a water farmer on a desert planet that has no real friends needs to talk to his robots because they're his only friends. Yeah, I'll go with that.
That's not actually true. He actually had friends. We just didn't see them.
If you
I got a
want,
girlfriend and kid.
I will put the deleted scenes from episode 4 in the chat. If you want to go watch the reason why Lucas's wife got so heavily involved, you can watch that and understand what the fuck happened, because you get to meet Biggs when Biggs is getting ready to go join the rebellion, and you get to meet some other people that is part of Luke's little cadre. There's a real cute lady that's involved with that, and she's never mentioned in any other book whatsoever, but she yanks the binoculars off Luke's neck, and she looks up at the sky and was watching the space battle going on. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
Well,
They
cool.
were also in the Marvel adaptation. Those characters were in the comic book.
And that's if that's the case, that is awesome. But in every Star Wars movie I've seen, a variation of it, Luke is bitching that he can't go to town because he's stuck at the farm being a water farmer, and his uncle and his cousins were the only other people he really talked to, and he needs a friend, so he bought two.
All right, kids. There you go.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I just did.
Shadow, I really like the answers I got tonight with these 2 questions I have. For my own personal use, it's a personal property thing. What I do with my Android's my business, and I don't give a shit what you think about me. My Android, if it gets broken too much, I will get the upgraded kits or get the rebuild kit, and all right, my Android's better now. Whatever. Push button, whatever, it fixes itself, or I plug in a USB drive. But I'm pretty certain that it's going to be my Android, and I don't really care what other people have to say about it. Like, if I use it as a fleshlight, or if I use it as a 7-year-old kid outside with dad, whenever I need to fix something and it's just handing me spanners and wrenches, I'll do that. No matter what I do, it's not going to be anything that I care about other people's opinions. They can buy their own Android. Fuck them. And that's just where I'm at on that. I know that sounds very simplistic, but it's a very much personal property issue. And I don't tell you guys what to do with your guns and ammunition. Please.
I didn't go buy more.
Do not tell me what to do with mine. And that's how exactly, everything is a tool to me. If I was a general and we have to look at possible loss, I'd have to look at the price of how much it takes to cost to train. And if it's easier for me to lose battalions of flesh and blood because those are cheaper than the Android parts, because some little kid is making a very nice strip mine for a retard girl that's trying to save Europe. How dare you? I'm pretty okay with that. We can go get rid. We can have another recruiting drive with the next Top Gun movie. We'll get more Navy pilots. I'm pretty okay with that. And it sounds terrible that you would casually discard human life. Have you seen the people that we have around here? Some of us are pretty cool, okay? I'll admit that. Some of you guys are great. Like those of us that we can talk and have conversations, that's awesome. But there's whole swaths of people that believe Ariana Grande is a valid musician and entertainer.
And then they're speaking.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, we're gonna lose some pretty cool people in the process, but we're gonna get rid of a whole bunch of people that think there's more than two genders, and I'm all right with that. And I know that sounds terrible, but meh.
I would never think that at all.
I'm not asking for your forgiveness, guys. I'm just being honest, and I don't.
I completely agree. Personal property is personal property. I don't tell you what you can and cannot buy. You don't tell me what I cannot buy and what I do with it.
I would never. Okay. Hard stop. I had an opportunity to go visit an Amazon site not long ago, and there's this entire like set of paperwork I have to sail through in order to get on site. And I kind of looked at that, and I've emailed them back. Please stop trying to email me your paperwork. I don't care about your facility. I don't want to ever be on it unless things change. Unless I'm paid a sickening amount of money, there's no need for me to be there. Buy somebody else. Buy somebody else's services. And that's where I'm at. You fucked up the Wheel of Time, which was not my favorite series, but it was passable. And you fucked up Lord of the Rings. And for that, I want you to burn. I don't even give money to Amazon Prime.
That was 2 strikes. I'm kind of curious what they do with the Warhammer, just because Henry
Cavill
is playing in it, and he's a diehard Warhammer fan. He left Witcher because they were fucking it up.
RPG Grandma, you're mostly right with that. But I've met too many military brass that have gotten into the military and are using it as a political promotion tool. I've met too many people that were enlisted and way more people that were former officers that they've used it to great effect to heighten their own personal star, and there's not a whole lot of redemption for them. And worse yet, they will try to flavor things up a bit. And I know the common soldier is typically braver than the rest of America. I get that. I was a sailor. You know, I understand that. We all sign on the dotted line for our own various reasons. I just wanted to have pussy. That was it. Wait, I could possibly go overseas and get laid? Awesome. Let's go. Don't have to pay for it? Awesome. Let's go.
Wait. Thinking with your penis has been making the world go around for how long?
It's just one more problem with today's society, and I was very happy to be part of it. Thank you for the money that you paid in your taxes for my escapades over in Europe.
Sexapades.
Yes. But I really, I don't like, there's a lot of military that's out there that they've been grooming good people out for years. And one of the things that happened in 2012 was they were asking officers, would you fire on civilians in America? And that was one of the litmus tests. So,
yep.
Just saying, I don't have a problem with common soldier. And I'm going to say something that probably a lot of people don't want to think about. I don't have a problem with the militaries of our enemy, because those guys are doing the same thing for their people that we think we're doing for ours. I admire them for that, but I don't love them. I don't want them to win. But I'm going to tell you that, like, I see the grunt's perspective very, very well. I still have that perspective, but I can tell you that the people that are in charge of things, especially here in States, if we could just like collapse DC, we'd be a lot better off. And I know, oh, this isn't it, traitor. Well, fuck you. It's called freedom of speech.
Can we add New York to that pile too?
K Street, especially, yes.
Okay.
Parts of California, Illinois,
North of I-80?
parts of Kentucky.
And I'm willing to bet that if you give
Missouri.
grunts a chance, if you give grunts a chance to win, especially American military, because American military is going to be a little spicier than the others. American military was started pretty much and they've had this mentality where they are default aggressive. Like if you take out an officer, you've just taken a condom off, and they're going to blow through like lots of people. They're going to waste a lot of individuals. So like you're better off if you're facing the American military in a hostile situation. Just try to surrender and not get like most of your chest cavity blown apart. But the American military has a few standing orders. If your leadership starts disappearing, default aggressive is the way to go. And American military has proven way too many times that if you give grunts a chance to win, they will not only win, but they will get medals for that shit.
Didn't the Army just have their birthday a couple days ago?
Yeah.
I tried to stay away from political stuff, at least on this.
It was
aspect.
yesterday.
It was yesterday. I try to stay away from politics on Gatekeepers, on Tablebreakers, unless me and Bruce are doing something on YouTube. But I strongly believe the strongest army in the world will always be a volunteer army.
Yeah, for the most part.
So
I will say that probably any military that's volunteer is going to win. But if you want to have an economic superpower, have slavery. I mean,
or robots.
Yeah, slavery of some form or another.
So
Yeah, RPG Grandma. I don't mean to offend, but I mean I'm just saying that like there's too many pieces of garbage right now. And as much as I wanted to like Mattis, the more I found out about General James Mattis, the more I found out, the less I liked him. He has some very good lessons out there, but he had some personal dealings that I cannot, in any aspect, respect him the way I once did.
So, not this weekend, but next week, for all you RPG people out there, have a local game shop that's doing it. Since Jade's not here, I'll say it. They're having this wonderful thing called Free RPG Day. It should become a national holiday. People should get off of work, go to your local game shop, and go play new games. Stay away from the main ship games like 5e and Lost Finder. We're not talking about those. We're talking about other games that are out on the market that you, as players, should go check out, because you never know, there might be a brand new gem out there that is going to be the love of your life. And that's not this weekend. It is next weekend. I will be hanging out with Bruce and the rest of the Motley crew, hopefully not dying.
Well, you may want to go back and watch the episode.
Did I die?
No, you didn't hit a whole lot, but you did not die.
Hey, it's like high school. Anyways, and dating.
I don't know why they call it Dinosaur Month, but this is still May. Welcome to May 26th. May 46th, my bad. Khymerion, you've been putting a lot of information out there on your musings on the Discord channel. Anything in particular lately that you're pretty proud you wrote?
I wrote a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
You're just one of my favorite people.
I honestly wrote a whole lot of stuff about a lot of things, and I don't know what stands out. I mean, did anything I wrote stand out? Well, because I know JT and I were having a conversation that went really fucking meta for a bit there, like way off the deep end meta.
I read that.
And then there was, that was just that was a kid, that was nuts, and I loved it, but boy, was it good and weird.
It was a little weird, but it was really good. Even Six Nation 31 Kings is like, it was good stuff, guy.
Yeah, keep doing it, dude.
I mean, yeah, I really can't. How do I narrow that? Like, how do I summarize that entire conversation into? No, just go read it.
For those of you that are going to Origins, I do envy you a little bit, but for the rest of us, we get free RPG day. It'll be free RPG weekend. Because even though it's going to be Saturday, I can guarantee if you go in on Sunday to any game store that has promotional materials, and you're like, I want to run something, give me free shit. They'll be like, here you go. Here's your stack. Here's your stack of stuff.
You know, as a professional DM that works at a game shop, there's not that many game shops that'll tell you no. Hey, can I corner table and throw a game together? I don't know very many game shops that are going to say no to that. As long as you don't play My Little Pony RPG, that is wrong, and you know better.
What about Pug Finder?
Bug Finder? Are we playing Aliens?
Pug Finder.
Oh, Pug Finder? Actually, that game looks kind of cool. My only rub with that one is I can't be an Irish Wolfhound.
Why?
I haven't found the stats for them as of yet.
Okay.
Do you mean Pugmire?
Pugmire, yeah.
Pugmire. There we go.
Yeah, I've got the PDF. It looks freaking awesome. I think Omen was supposed to run us through a game of that, but we'll see.
Life.
Well,
yeah, I get it.
There is a con coming up that I think we should probably help pimp out. And I'm not a big shill for most people. I will shill real quick our friends at Blackout Coffee, because they're getting some real steam behind them, and they have an opportunity for you to be a member of their founding team. I know that sounds kind of weird, but this is how we pay the bills here.
To each their own.
Blackout Coffee, America's Coffee for America's Warriors. They have a link right up here for being an owner of Blackout Coffee. Get like an IPO, and they quite patriotic Americans, I might say. All right. Oh yeah, that's the Toshi Station stuff. We have our friends at Big Geek Emporium, and Big Geek Emporium is doing Big Geek Con.
Not Cabin Con?
Oh, they already had that. And it's coming up here fairly soon. But you want to get involved with independent-minded people? I mean, people you can have a good conversation with, maybe argue with a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're still friends. Go to this people here, Big Geek Emporium.
Yep.
They sell stuff. They sell really good stuff. The Red Room's got a lot of stuff. Big Geek Con, September 2023, 22nd through 23rd in Saginaw, Michigan.
Yeah, but it's Michigan.
Tickets for this are $30 badge for Friday and Saturday. You have rates for the guest room. Double Queen is $114, discounted from $126. If you guys can get the room rates down, this is a hell of a job. This is a hell of a little thing that Randy and Joe have put together, and I would love to see this get some more love. But you want to be involved with these people, and Ray and Randy and Joe are just good guys. Get involved with it. It's a con. It's not going to have VAC cards. It's not going to have any woke bullshit there. Check it out. And it you might find some really good new friends. I wish I was closer because I would go, but it's like 1,700 miles.
You know,
Sorry.
if you're in Michigan, you can venture down to Illinois, and me and you and a few other people that live locally could go to this wonderful little pub on Farmington Road called Jimmy's. it'd be a good time to have there, Bruce. No sell. I tried.
I'm going to say second edition, Draconic Cherub. He's asking about what best version of Shadowrun is worth playing. I would say second edition. Maybe Kai will disagree with me, but I like second.
Second was good, but third is my.
Personally, I never seen Shadowrun. I'm not saying that he couldn't, but he's kind of old, and he was talking about robots wiping his ass. So I don't know if a Shadowrun would be really that good thing to watch anymore. Wow, wow, wow.
Bad dad
I
joke.
think our friend Bo says it best when he says,
Oh, I missed you guys. I'm sorry that I was not here last week. So I got to play catch up with the dad jokes.
So, Connell, aside
Yes.
from Sunday being, I think Sunday is Father's Day. Right?
Sunday is Father's Day. For those who have children that you call yours or stepchildren or whatever variation, it is your day to find a way to make them spoil you. Breakfast in bed, bring you extra coffee that day. We, as the Ramblers, that's why I'm calling that show, because we ramble on about damn near anything, will not be doing anything because Father's Day is a special holiday to most of us on that panel. I think everybody but Jack has kids, and so we will not be doing anything. Was that towards me?
Yeah, I don't have kids. I don't give a shit. This is a Sunday for me.
But there's a good chance, there's a very good chance you will see me doing a video about whatever, talking about whatever, and see if I can drag some people into the show with me and just do a random, chat, just a random show and talk about, well, whatever the hell we want to. It might not be kid friendly. So look for me doing a video on Sunday where it's just going to be chill and bullshit. Other than that, that's what I got going on this Sunday. I know the following Sunday, we're going to get back on track and we're going to be reviewing the foreign film, the first of foreign films that was Jack's choice, called Battle Wizard, which I want I want my money back. That's all I'm saying is I want my money back.
Jack is a surprising repertoire. His repertoire of classifying movies, it seems to have this running theme where Jack picks a movie and Connell does not appreciate it. He does not enjoy himself.
He's picked out some really good ones.
He has? Okay.
He has.
I never hear about those. I only hear about the ones that you gnash your teeth all the way through.
he picked up Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles for Greater Glory. He picked out a book for us to read called We,
Greater Glory
which was
awesome.
amazing. This kid is amazing in choices when it doesn't come out of the dollar store bin.
Okay, so Jack is like that director. We cannot treat this director like Quentin Tarantino or Robert Rodriguez. We cannot expect him to make money off of a zero budget film. They have to have some money behind it. Okay. Jack's ability to buy free movies is not good. I would recommend, if you ever get a chance to watch it, Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Amazing enough, you picked that. Said that movie. That will be week 2. That was my choice for the foreign films, which I've watched. It came out when I was in college. I absolutely loved the movie. I have been told there's an English version of it, which I think is sacrilege. The movie needs to be read in its native tongue of French.
Yeah, there's a really good DVD out there that has both versions, and I recommend the French version overall. I also recommend the foreign language, the Indonesian version of both Raid movies. Shadow, what videos are you putting together for your crew?
Pardon me?
What videos you're getting ready to release for the next week?
Obviously, I'm going to be doing the Shadow Chat on Saturday night. Not really sure on the topic. I do like this one if we can continue it with some of the other guys, but I have another couple that I'm mulling about. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit of a slow week. Ever since Jackie got this new job that we can't really talk about, I've hardly seen any of him. He's working really hard on this project, and he's got a very limited window. We were supposed to be playing games all week, this week and last, but so we're just putting out, some show-off videos to reminisce over, the old man's collection. And it probably won't be until mid-July that we get back to, normal, so to speak, when he comes back from Mexico. And even then, he'll have a couple of weeks before he has to go back to school. So it's just going to be the old guy mostly doing whatever, prepping videos, eBay videos. I've got a couple other things coming up, but until next week, it's going to be kind of slim pickings for us. I'm in like 3 games in the next 3 days, so I'm going to be pretty damn busy.
There should be a book somewhere in that list of things to do called Dresden Files. It's one of those. I know. I'm hoping.
What book are you on now? Discussing there, Connell. What book are you involved?
Summer Night.
Summer Night.
Okay, that one there was probably my least favorite one, and that was still a lot of fun to read.
I gotta go. Sorry.
All right.
Hey, Kai.
Sorry.
Take care, Kai.
buddy.
Have a great weekend, buddy.
Yeah, you will.
careful,
I'll talk to you later. I'll try.
You look like you was having some trouble there. That sucks.
No, he's
This
already
week-
turned into a pumpkin time-wise anyways.
Yeah, pumpkin time is here. So you're doing Shadow Chat, and that's usually with Nathan Allen, right?
No. That's before his show. That's just a sci-fi discussion, and then right after that, I'll be doing the Quantum Show with Nathan Allen on Saturday night.
Okay.
I
Anything
gotta
else?
find my way over to Shadow Chat and hang out with you guys at some point.
Yeah, RPG Grandma says she's going to get the book mailed to you tomorrow, Shadow.
Oh, no hurry. I kind of totally forgot about it. It's a shame you can't come up with an extra copy of Starship Troopers, but I just read the audiobook, so no worries.
You listened to the audiobook
really
of that? That was
I
great.
was letting that hang there, Bruce. I really was. I was just going to let that hang.
My bad. Okay. Well, for those of you that don't understand my schedule, this weekend is a bye week for my gaming. Monday. I should go back to Sunday. Sunday, if you want to hang out, I'll be in Discord at some point after about 7 o'clock that night. We're watching The Gamers Part 2, Darkness Rising, because Janet has never seen it.
Yes.
Yes, and then Monday night, Janet and I are reviewing and discussing Darkness Rising. So if you want to know the origin of the horny, oversexed bard, this is the movie that brought it the popular vernacular. Okay, and I understand there's a lot of us out there that are tired of the oversexed 5e bard bullshit. Well, this is the movie that ruined it for us. This is a Six Nations. Have a great night, sir. Be well, my friend. If you got to go, if not, stick around for a few minutes. We've got a lot of stuff we'll be going through on Monday night talking about this movie, because I see Janet in the character of Joanna in this movie so much. Joanna's a little bit more quote unquote refined version.
Oh my
of
God, you're
Joanna.
not wrong though.
Joanna is a very sweet, like barely 30-something person in the movie, and she's like fighting all the bullshit that you get when you first get into a D&D group when you're a girl. and Janet kind of is going through her own situation at the table. So yeah, you wasted a wish. I love that. I love that fucking finale to the movie. That is the true finale to a movie. That if they would have stopped the entire Gamer series, it would have ended on a complete high note. But they made the third movie, which is bullshit. But I love how the second movie ends. Hang out with us on Sunday. We'll be in Discord. We'll be talking about this movie on Monday night, and you'll be seeing me kiss Janet's ass, trying not to. Please don't be offended. Please don't be offended. Please don't be offended. Charlotte Williams. We're talking about the Gamers 2 Darkness Rising. It is a gaming classic. It is a gaming movie classic. It's so good, and it's one of the best versions of the movie or the game being brought to movie format I've ever seen. In the movie itself, you actually see a sneak preview or a sneak peek at the Wizards of the Coast offices, which they do that with the Ninja's pizza delivery boy skit they have. But it's such a good film, and it has such good believable characterization in it. Hang out with us on Sunday in my Discord. We'll be there after about 7 p.m. So, yeah, part 1 is really low budget, like $200 budget, okay? Part 2, they had real money. They had people from the industry in that film all over the place are in that movie. So I recommend watching it. I'll even send you a link. So
there was a while you couldn't walk into a game store without seeing those two movies on DVD for sale.
Dude, that movie got more popular than where I'm from in Washington, Illinois. You would hear more quotes from the Gamers Darkness Rising than you would Monty Python and the Holy Grail. For quite a long time, that movie had more quotes being belted out at tables. But we're watching and talking about that Monday night. On Tuesday, I'm hanging out with Nick Weiser on 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. We're discussing Missing in Action because it's Chuck Norris month. We're starting July off early. And then what else? Oh, yeah, next Saturday, game. You guys have fun with that free RPG day. I'm going to be running the game for about 8 or 9 hours, maybe 10. So I recommend if you are wanting to have a game in the background, come join us. You'll see Connell and Draconic Cherub suffering quite a bit through the game because right as the players were enjoying themselves and they'd done all the things and they were being fed brisket, had their mouth full of tacos, and were really enjoying the company of the dwarves. They'd fixed some things and they had answers. And all of a sudden, the fire giants start teleporting in. They're sieging the city. Have fun, fuckers. So, that's everything I've got. Shadow, do you have anything final to say, sir?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's going to be busy. Hope everybody has a great weekend. It's starting to feel a lot like summer.
It's about 100 degrees during the day here, so yeah, I get it. Connell,
I just want to say, everybody in chat, it's a pleasure seeing and reading your comments. I missed you last weekend. Really, I might do an after battle report on the show, but I had the rare benefit of explaining the history of Sicilians to a Sicilian like they do in True Romance.
Oh, what a great movie. All right, guys. I think that's everything for tonight. Everybody be well.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.